Hi, everyone. Welcome in. We're just going to give it a few moments here while people trickle in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're just going to give it a few moments while people enter, and then we will get started. All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our NU in Germany Know Before You Go webinar. Just wanted to go over some housekeeping items before we get started. This webinar is being recorded, so you will be able to refer back to this as you prepare for your travel to Berlin. We also have a Q&A chat box at the bottom of the screen, so please feel free to utilize that to put questions in there that we'll answer throughout the presentation, as well as at the end if we have time.
Welcome everybody again for coming to the Know Before You Go webinar. So today we're just going to go over some introductions about who will be on site with you this fall. We'll do an overview of NU in Germany as a whole. We'll talk about academics, as of course that's why you are with us and joining Northeastern. We'll also talk about preparing for this upcoming semester, some health and safety information. We'll talk about what to expect while looking ahead. And we'll also talk about those next action steps that you should be looking to do in the next coming weeks. So first we'll start with some introductions. Jessie, if you want to, again, say who you are, why you are on with us today.
Thanks, Ashley. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessie Hodgson. I'm the Assistant Director with the NU in Germany location. I'm also the parent contact throughout the semester based in Boston. So parents, you will be receiving an email from me soon about how to get in contact with me this fall. I also liaise with our on-site staff who you're about to be introduced to here. So I know what's going on site and connect with the parents back here from Boston. I'll hand it back over to Ashley to introduce herself.
So my name is Ashley Busier. I will be on site with students in Germany this fall. I am the program supervisor, which means essentially I'm there to help ensure the program runs smoothly, help ensure that we have a diversity of different programs offered for you, and also just be there to liaison with our fantastic partner, CIEE. Dior, if you want to come on and pop in to introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. My name is Dior. I use the he series of pronouns. I'm the student success manager for the NU in Germany site. So my role is mainly the student life-facing side of it. So along with myself, I also bring a team of 5 coordinators who we'll talk a little bit about on the next slide. But nice to meet you all. I'll just kick it off to Eric.
Thank you much. Yes, my name is Eric. I am the Director of Student Life and Wellbeing here at CIE Berlin. We're excited. As I'll mention a little bit later, Northeastern has been coming to us since 2016, and I've been with CIE Berlin since then, so a very long history there. And unfortunately, my colleague Liza cannot make it with us today, but she is the primary program coordinator heading up a lot of the concrete planning and responsibilities here on site for Northeastern. So she'll be here as another support person from the CIE Berlin team while you're here on site as well.
So as I had mentioned previously, these are my student success coordinators that I supervise on site. There's 5 of them. So this program split up in different family groups. So all of you students will be split up into family groups that is each headed by a student success coordinator. So they are your primary contact while you are abroad.
All right, so I know you've been hearing a lot about Northeastern and the NU In program as you've been preparing to go abroad, but what you perhaps haven't heard so much about is who we are as your partner organization in running this program for you. So CIEE is one of the US's oldest study abroad organizations. We've been around since 1947, so founded right after World War II ended, to get started on cultural exchange and international understanding right away. We've been in Berlin since the 1990s, but we've been at the site that you can see here in the photo in the background since 2015. And we've been welcoming students on the NUN program since 2016. So we've been doing this for a while, and we're looking forward to welcome you to Berlin, introducing you to the city, and introducing you to our neighborhood of Kreuzberg, which is the part of the city that we're located in. Berlin itself is an extraordinarily diverse, very interesting city with a lot of different backgrounds. We've got almost 4 million people living in the city now, and over 200,000 of them are students. So this is going to be a great place for you to connect with peers and to find lots of culture and offerings in the city that are targeted towards college-aged students. One of the really nice things that I like about Berlin too is that even if you're not always just a city person, there's still lots of green spaces, lots of parks, lots of lakes, waterways, canals, places where you can get a little bit of a break from the city. So it doesn't always necessarily just have to be 4 million people around you all of the time. Lots of cultural differences that we'll get into when you get here. But one of the ones that we wanted to start priming you for right away is that Germans, as you may or may not know, have a stereotype of being a little bit more direct in how they say things. So sometimes you might just have to take a beat and say, no, they're not being mean. They're just being German. And we'll work on that with you along with some other cross-cultural tips when you get here. As I mentioned before, you're not just going to be in Berlin. You're going to be more specifically in the district of Kreuzberg, but districts themselves in the city are rather quite large. And so districts are broken up yet again into neighborhoods. And our specific neighborhood is called the Bergmann Kiez. The Kiez is the Berlin term for the neighborhood where you recognize the people who run the stores, and they recognize and say hi to you. It's the place where you feel at home, and everybody's got their local shops that they go to. So we're in the Bergmann Kiez, which is filled with lots of local restaurants, cafes, independent shops. You can shop your little hearts out, grocery stores for convenience, and just a very fascinating, fun, interesting neighborhood that we're looking forward to getting you excited about when you get here as well. In terms of public transportation, depending on your background and your experience in the US, this may or may not be an active skill set that you come with, but it's one that we want to get you excited about when you get here. The public transportation system is so exciting. I could gush about it for the next 45 minutes of this departure, but I have a feeling Ashley and Dior would have something to say about that, so I won't. Just know it's an incredibly convenient system. The closest subway station is literally across the street from campus. The closest bus stop is also literally 10 steps away from our front gate. And you're going to be receiving free monthly transportation tickets for the duration of your time. So there's no reason not to get to know the system and to take advantage of all of the opportunities that it offers for you. Now, in terms of housing, we have our own dormitory here on the CIE campus. We are a study center that has dormitories, shared kitchens, laundry rooms, classrooms, and our staff offices all in one. So you don't have to leave campus to get to your classes, to speak to your Northeastern staff contacts, or to speak with us as CIE staff members who are also here to support you. More specifically, in terms of your housing, you're going to be either in doubles, triples, or quad rooms, but each room will have an ensuite bathroom. That means you'll have your own sink, mirror, toilet, shower, etc., that you're going to be sharing with a maximum of 3 other people. So there's not going to be shared bathrooms for the entire floor or for an entire wing. We will provide bed linens for you. That includes a duvet and the duvet cover that's sort of like a comforter with a removable cover that you can wash for hygienic reasons. You'll get pillow and pillowcase from us. So you don't have to worry about anything regarding your beds, fitted sheets, all that good stuff. The only thing you have to bring with you is a towel. I would recommend either bringing sort of a medium-sized towel to get you through the first day or two. And as part of orientation, we're going to be taking you to a local home goods store where you can get a towel. It's only about a 10-minute walk from campus. Or if you really have a towel that you know and love well, and you want to make room for that in your suitcase, it might be advisable to bring a full towel with you as well. Um, we do have shared kitchens on each of the floors that you're going to be living on. So you will be sharing a kitchen that is fully stocked with pots, pans, spatulas, glasses, plates, forks, knives, all of the good stuff that you need. A lot of times in the past, students have worked together with their coordinators to plan shared objects like oils, vinegars, spices, salt, pepper, etc. So you don't have 30 pepper mills floating around the kitchen. But yes, we and your coordinators will work with you to make the most out of sharing the kitchens, sharing the lounges, and helping keep them clean. We also have laundry in the building. Laundry is not included in the program fees. It is on a per load basis, but it's about €2.50 to wash. We have dryers as well if you wish, but we also have drying racks if you wish to save the money and just let your clothes air dry. One other thing that I would say about the laundry machines is that there is already detergent in the machine, so you don't have to worry about buying any laundry detergent while you are here. In terms of staffing, like I said, we are a full all-in-one location with dormitory, classrooms, and offices all in one. That means that we have nearly 24/7 staffing. Our front desk is staffed from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. The security staff starts with an hour of overlap, starting at 6 p.m. already. And security staff is here from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. overnight. So there's a small window between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. where you might not find anybody at the front desk. But other than that, there's always somebody here to help you. And security is here all day and all night over the weekends as well. Even though we don't have a meal plan, like I said, we have shared kitchens, so you can cook for yourselves, or you could take advantage of some of the local options around campus. But we also run our own on-site cafe with basic coffee drinks, cappuccinos, black coffee, stuff like that, and simple baked goods like waffles, muffins, etc. So if you want to grab a small snack or a light lunch, either before classes get start on your class break or in the lunch hour, you can also do that with us here on site.
Okay, so one of the best parts about being in the NUN program is that we offer programs for students, both Northeastern that are planned by Northeastern, but also planned by CIE staff. Um, these programs are included in your program fee, so they do not cost you anything additional to partake in them. Uh, so examples of some past programs are that we've taken students on a hop on and hop off Berlin bus tour. We've taken students to the Magic Flute Opera, and we've also taken them to the ballet. I think it's always important to note that you may not know if you like or don't like some of these things, but this is a great opportunity to find out because, again, it's included in the program fee. So you can just come along and join us and find out, do you like the opera or do you like the ballet? I think people sometimes are surprised as well that they actually really like it and they maybe didn't expect that. We've also taken students to the Christmas markets. We've taken them to make chocolate, and we took them to a potato festival, which you can see on the picture on the screen. The Potato Festival is kind of a unique opportunity, and if you are there, you can elect to pay a small fee if you want to be able to dig up some potatoes to take them home to cook. That is also an option is outside of just attending the festival. So these are kind of these are optional activities that students can take advantage of. I highly recommend students signing up and participating. Again, they don't cost anything additional to take part in, and they really help you to get a better understanding of your host city, your host community, and really feel, more part of that Northeastern cohort. Outside of those optional programming activities, we also have two required day trips and a required overnight excursion for students that are really vital to the success of the program and, again, are really important to help students understand their host country and really build that Northeastern cohort. So we will have our first day trip during orientation week, and this will be to Brandenburg, which is a green area outside of Berlin. It's a really great place for students to relax, for them to take some time to recharge, build those connections that they've made with people from their group flights and during those first few days of orientation. So it's a really great day just to recharge from the flights, the orientation, and get ready for the upcoming week when school is starting. Our overnight weekend trip will be to Leipzig. Leipzig The Leipzig trips will be divided into 2 weekends. So please do not make any travel plans until you know which weekend you will be attending. Leipzig is a beautiful city that has a real rich history, including a lot of musical, famous musical composers who've spent time there, including Johann Sebastian Bach, who lived there for almost 27 years. And students will really have an opportunity to explore on their own, but we will also have some structured activities for students to take part in. Our last day trip will be on November 9th to Sachsenhausen. Sachsenhausen served as a concentration camp for about 9 years during World War II. So this is a day trip that will probably bring a lot of feelings and emotions. So just know that we will have support and spaces for students before, during, and after, as if students need.
So continuing on the program front, we also have our NUN Germany traditions. So traditions are something that connect all the NUN sites the across Europe. Traditions take place throughout the entirety of the semester, and they really just serve to connect the whole cohort and also connect you back to that Northeastern spirit in general. So some examples we have here is we have some more traditional ones that you may recognize, such as Halloween and Thanksgiving. And then we have an end of the year banquet. Some other examples we have is our first day of school photos, which that first day of class you have, we would have an opportunity for you to take photos and just share those memories and take those with you going on. And then we also have Husky Day, which is just an opportunity for you to just celebrate your Husky pride and do a lot of Northeastern things to connect you back to the Boston campus. And my personal favorite, Husky Hunt, which is a big scavenger hunt that really gets you out into the city of Berlin and seeing some sights such as maybe the TV Tower or the Brandenburg Gate. And we also have postcards, which was an opportunity for you to go and connect back to maybe some loved ones at home. So we provide postcards that you can send out. Maybe expect those from parents. So parents, if you have not heard from your students, you know who to talk to. And then next up, we also have family dinners. So your coordinators once a month through the duration of the program, we'll be taking you out to various cuisine spots throughout the city. Some personal favorites that we have in the neighborhood include Umami, which is like a Vietnamese fusion restaurant. We also have Tomasa for some Italian. And then also for some nice traditional German food, we have the Dolden Mädel. So if you have any recommendations or something that you really like to try, you can feel free to recommend those to your coordinator, and it could be potentially part of the family dinner.
All right, so now we're going to touch on academics as this is really the core of the program and why you are participating in the NUN program. So students will have the opportunity to really engage in the world outside of their classroom while they are taking part in our program. So the academic experience, a little bit more about what that looks like. So students will be taking 4 classes at CIEE in order to earn the equivalent number of full semester worth of credit at Northeastern. There was also an opportunity to take a 1 credit course in addition that's online, that's through Northeastern. Again, this is an optional course, and students really need to think about do they have the time and will they commit to taking the class? And then if they or answer yes, definitely you can then elect to enroll in this 1 credit class. It really focuses on you know, being a global student and looking at different cultural aspects. So grades will be transferred again straight from what you earn in CIE to Northeastern. So this is not a pass-fail type of program. You will receive a letter grade, and that letter grade will then transfer back to Northeastern. So that is important to take note of and really make sure that you are prioritizing your studies. The classroom environment at CIE is unique in the sense of you will be taking classes in the same building in which you are living, which means you have a very short commute to class each morning. This also means that you don't have a lot of excuses to be late, as you can't blame it on traffic or the the metro being down or any other excuse. So it's really important to make sure that you're on time, as again, you really only have like a 3-minute walk downstairs to get to your class, which can be a benefit to some, and maybe others don't love it as much, but it definitely allows you to be on time and ready to learn for each one of your classes. And so outside of, so you have those 4 classes, and one of those 4 classes has to be a local experiential learning course. All NUN sites have this requirement, and this class is really catered to allow you to learn more about the country that you are studying in. In the past, we have had a for a Germany food class. There's been a Holocaust studies class. So there's different options, and students can enroll in one that they are most interested in. Um, they may not get their first choice, but they'll definitely get into a great class. I promise that all of our experiential learning courses are exceptional. And another great thing about CIE is that with each class, there will be opportunities to get you outside of the classroom. So you might get to go to a local museum, see some local historical sites, to really take that learning that's in the classroom and expand it to include the real world. So here is how those grades will transfer over to Northeastern. Again, that letter grade is what will transfer over, and that will be part of your Northeastern GPA. So again, it's not pass fail. It will transfer over and it will count towards your overall GPA. As you can see, there is no A plus. So A is the highest level, the highest grade that one can receive. And then also notice when you get lower on the chart, there is no C minus, there is no C plus, and there is no D minus. So those grades will just transfer as is. So a D is just a D. So please be aware of that. In order for to get credit at Northeastern, you have to receive a D minus or higher, or in this case, a D or higher. I know that no one at NU in Germany is going to get a D, so we don't have to worry about that. All our students are exceptional as you got into Northeastern, which means you had great academics in high school, and you know how to excel in education. And so we are without a doubt knowing that there will be no issue for you all to get a higher grade than a D minus.
Cool. Thinking a little bit about some of the local academic culture that you're going to be stepping into when you come to Germany. This, I think, is a really unique and exciting opportunity, and one of the reasons I get so excited that we offer this program, because we've been partnering with Northeastern long enough that we know how to offer classes that reach the standards of excellence that Northeastern has, so that you can keep up with your coursework and being able to continue on your path successfully when you return to Boston. But that you're also getting the advantages of education abroad, that your instructors here are going to come from a variety of different backgrounds, some of them European, some of them global, some of them expat Americans. It's going to be a little bit of everything. And those backgrounds, I think, are what making the learning opportunities with our faculty so valuable and so unique. Our academic staff here, I'm going to channel our academic director for a moment. That Greta has been working with our faculty for a very long time to train them and make them familiar with some of the cultures and standards that American students come with. For example, the last bullet point points out here that there are going to be 5 different means of assessment. In the German academic tradition, it's not unusual for your final grade in a university seminar to be based solely on 2 grades, a presentation that you give at some point throughout the semester, and a final exam. And you have no opportunity for feedback along the way. And if you screw up one of those 2 assignments, well, too bad, so sad. Hope you do better in your next course. We realize that's not a productive academic learning environment for people coming out of the American system who are used to frequent feedback and frequent assessments. So we make sure that there are lots of assessments built in, lots of opportunities for students to get feedback from their professors throughout the course of the seminar, so that they know where they're at. They know where and when to seek additional help if they need it, and get that positive reinforcement for the work that they are doing. That being said, student participation and active learning is vital in order for the professors to be able to provide that feedback about how the student is doing. And so attendance is paramount in your classes. And I will say, in my experience with this program, the biggest hurdle to students' academic success on the program is not necessarily learning to transition from high school academics to college academics, but rather to temper their excitement for independent travel. So I know budget airlines in Europe make it tempting to want to go to Warsaw this weekend, and Amsterdam the weekend after that, and Rome the weekend after that, and maybe we'll throw in a Barcelona or a Copenhagen here or there. As exciting as those opportunities are, please remember that the independent travel component can not only be physically and emotionally exhausting, but it can also detract from your ability to perform academically during your time here. So we're here to support you, but make sure that you're also here as well. In terms of the class schedule, your actual selection of courses should be finalized with your Northeastern academic advisor before you come. So if you haven't finalized that yet, please do reach out to your advisor to finalize your course selections. The actual concrete schedule of which classes will be meeting on which days and in which time slots, that concrete schedule will be shared during orientation when you get here. Most classes meet twice per week for 80-minute sessions, and classes do happen Monday through Friday, so don't count on always having Fridays free for long weekends. Like Ashley mentioned before, our courses also have co-curricular activities. So this is going to be learning opportunities that happen outside of the classroom and outside of your regularly scheduled classes. Our faculty and our staff work very closely with each other to make sure that there aren't scheduling contexts and you have the scheduling conflicts and you have the ability to attend all of these things. But we recommend that you wait to schedule any independent travel until you get on site and you find out exactly what those co-curricular activities are. As a brief example, if you'll indulge me in a short anecdote, one of the courses that I've taught with another one of our programs is about gender and sexuality in the Weimar Republic. And that was the era when cabaret theater was at its prime. In Germany, many of you may know the 1970s movie with Liza Minnelli and Michael York. That is sort of what we talk about in my class. However, there are very few good cabarets in Berlin at 12:30 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. So we don't go to see a cabaret during regular scheduled class time. We do that as an evening event. And so those are the kinds of opportunities that the instructors are going to be looking for as additional learning opportunities for students outside of the classroom. Um, in your academic manuals, in your academic handbook, I believe it's on page 17 and 18, there's also a list of the textbooks that are required for some of the classes. If you are enrolled in a class that has a required textbook, we strongly advise that you purchase the textbook in advance of coming to Germany. It can sometimes be very challenging to either purchase English language textbooks in the right edition when you're already over here in Germany, or it can be very costly to ship textbooks from the US to Germany because they tend to be quite a little bit heavier. Some of the textbooks are available in digital form. If so, digital forms of the textbook are fine. But like I said, we would suggest that you purchase the textbooks and bring them over with you. And think of it this way, if you don't want to bring them back, you've already saved yourself space and weight for new souvenirs that you're going to bring back home with you instead of textbooks.
Okay, so now we're just going to touch on academic accommodations. So if you require academic accommodations or any type of housing accommodations, any accommodations at all, you need to submit your documentation to Northeastern's Disability Access Services, or DAS. In addition, you also must submit your documentation through your MyCIE portal, and this is through that medical questionnaire. If you haven't done this, please do it as soon as possible, um, because we really want to make sure that all of those approvals get done before you need any of those services. Um, it's also important for why you want to share them both with Northeastern's DAS and also with CIE, is so that both institutions have that information. And once you arrive in Germany, in Berlin, you will meet with the CIE academics team there to go over your accommodations and work together to create a plan if needed. Please bring your documentation with you to Berlin as well, because they're going to want to see the hard copies in person for the academic meeting. If you're still waiting on approval from Northeastern, that's okay. Just bring whatever documentation that you submitted that you have. So now we're going to start touching on what to expect in the upcoming semester. So first, we're going to talk about some important dates. Students will be arriving on September 1st. So this will be the kickoff of this wonderful experience that we'll be taking part in. And if you are on a group flight, for example, we will be meeting you at the airport, welcoming you to site, and bringing you back to CIEE. You will also have an on-site orientation from September 2nd to 5th. This is required, and all students are expected and must be at all sessions that are part of orientation, including that day trip. Orientation is very important to make sure that you have all the vital information you need to be successful and safe on site. In addition, we will be starting the residency process for those of you that are arriving without a visa, which is the US passport holders and some other countries as well. So it's important that you are there to be able to fill out that information. So again, on-site orientation is mandatory and students are required to be at all sessions. So keep that in mind. First day of classes will be September 8th. And so this, again, will be kind of kicking off the semester in the way of classes starting. We'll have that first day of school tradition program, and it will be really just a fun day to start the academic calendar. October 3rd is a national holiday. This actually falls on Friday. So this will be a long weekend. So definitely take advantage of that if able, or just recoup and recover from the start of the semester, whatever works for you. But we will have that long weekend. Fall break will be on October 18th through October 26th. This is something unique to NUN Germany, as many sites do not have a fall break. So definitely something great to take advantage if possible. One caveat on this is that with the residency permit process, you have to, we'll talk about more in detail, but you'll have to give up your passport at the start and then at the end to get that final sticker for the residency permit in your passport. So please refrain from, getting off this webinar and going ahead and booking travel. We'll have more details about the timeline, exactly what that might look later. But as of now, we don't know if we can't guarantee you will have your passport. So please just, take a break. Don't rush. Flights won't go crazy difference in prices in Europe. They're usually pretty affordable. So just hold off on, booking any fall break trips. And then final exams will be in your course syllabi. So it's really important that you read the syllabus for each of your courses so that you know exact dates of when those final exams are and what those requirements are. And then December 13th is the departure day when sadly students will leave us to head home before starting their spring semester in Boston.
So some notes on preparing for your journey. Making sure you're packing smart and efficiently. So one thing to note is that what Europe allows you to fly is very different from some other countries, for example, in the United States. Some bags are that you'll be allotted in the United States are a lot heavier than what Europe will allow. So you may be able to fly a bag from the States to Europe, but you may not be able to fly that same weighted bag the same back because Europe doesn't allow as much. So that's something to keep in mind of, making sure you're looking at the airlines and what those weight limits are to make sure your bags will fall within that. Making sure that whatever you're packing, it's what you need for just the duration of the trip. Try not to overpack at all. And just also be aware that there are a lot of things that you can buy and wait to buy while you are in Berlin. So not needing everything that you can possibly think of. And one example of that would be hair dryers. Because of the wattage, it actually would be best to try and buy a hair dryer while you are in Berlin instead of packing that. So another thing to keep in mind is on the lines of that is converters and chargers. Try and bring a couple converters from whatever your home country is to Europe. Try and bring a few converters with you. That way, when you're on the layover at the airport, you can charge your phone, or when you first get there, you don't have to immediately go out and get some. There are some available while will be in Berlin as well, but just making sure that you have a few to start with. Be prepared for the weather. Berlin weather, it's a little more mild than you might expect in maybe some hotter climates such as California or Florida, but it definitely doesn't get extremely cold to some extreme negative degree temperatures. But there is the potential of snow at times, and there is quite a bit of rain. So be prepared with an umbrella, rain jackets, those types of things. It can be quite overcast at times, so be prepared for that. And if you're a fan of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, remember to bring a towel. So, traveling with prescriptions. Making sure that you're packing all your prescriptions in your carry-on luggage, because in case something were to happen to your check bag, you do have all of your prescriptions on you at hand. Making sure you're keeping everything in the original bottle with the original script on it. A semester-long supply is best, so please talk to your medical provider ahead of time to try and get a semester-long option so you're not running out throughout the semester. One thing of note is that some prescriptions that are allowed in other countries may be illegal in Germany. So making sure you are aware of you have your supply ahead of time. Shipping medications is not permitted. That will not be allowed to go through. And using Crisis 24 Horizon, which I will talk about a little later, as a resource, and making sure you're just understanding the rules and everything. So if you have any questions, feel free to email, and just make sure you're letting someone trusted know on the site your potential medical history. That way, if something does arise where you are on site, there's someone who knows your potential medical conditions and can communicate that should you not be able to. So another note on banking and budgeting. So the local currency in Germany and in Berlin is the euro. Make sure you are talking to your bank ahead of time and that they know that you will be traveling so you don't have to worry about any delays in being able to purchase anything due to it being flagged for various reasons. Be aware of international transaction fees. So if you can get a card ahead of time that doesn't have any international transaction fees, that would be a good route to go. And then make sure you're discussing expectations with your family ahead of time and setting a budget for while you're going to be abroad in Europe. One thing of note, it is more than possible to get a very nice meal for under 15 euros in Berlin. Berlin is a very affordable city, much more affordable than some other European cities. One example is Paris is a very expensive city. So it's definitely possible to still live comfortably with a good budget.
Dior, if I may, just real quick, I saw there was a question before about grocery budgets. I would say, as a sort of basic general guideline, you could get away with probably 40 to 50 euros a week for grocery shopping in Germany, or in Berlin, even if you're purchasing meat and fresh produce. There are ways to do it for cheaper. I know students who have gotten their grocery budget down to 25, 30 euros a week, but I'd say 40 to 50 is probably good. But again, that's going to depend on how many meals you're cooking for yourself. If you're buying special dietary restrictions like gluten-free products or anything like that, and how much you're eating out. But yeah. Um, Not an elegant transition, but the next topic is mobile phones. Program restrictions or program guidelines are such that all students are required to have calling, texting, and data capabilities while they're over here. So just a data-based plan will not cut it. There are certain scenarios that we've encountered in the past where in an emergency situation, it's been necessary either for us to be able to call a student in order to reach them or for them to be able to call somebody else and not to rely solely on data to do that. So all students are required to have a phone plan that works with texting, calling, and data. That can be your plan from home that you bring with you over here, or it can be a local plan that you get while you're here on site. Either one is optional. Either one is possible. Please do talk to your provider about what plans they offer. Know that here it is very simple and very easy to purchase a pay-as-you-go SIM card, so you're not locked into a contract. And you simply pay for it as long as you need it. And come December, if you don't top off any more credit on that anymore, the phone number simply expires. You don't have to cancel anything, and you have no additional obligations. Most of these plans do not come with unlimited data, but they are getting with increasing amounts of data and cheaper. So play around on your phone and see sort of what your typical data usage is per month. And we can also talk and work with students about how to use their data wisely. So you can get away with a 20 gigabyte per month plan or even a 10 gigabyte month plan here for as cheap as 10 to 15 euros a month. If you do wish to go with a local phone plan, please make sure that your phone is unlocked. That is a service that your current provider can do for free on the phone while you wait. You just need to call them and say that you need your phone to be unlocked, and they will do that for you. We will be collecting students' phone numbers when they get on site. Again, this is to help with our emergency notification system and make sure that we have all of the right contact information for everybody. And also, please set up a contact plan with how often you're going to be in touch. Students, are you going to be expected to send daily check-ins via WhatsApp with your parents? Parents, are you going to be expecting a weekly Sunday afternoon phone call from your child? Set up those expectations and talk about how often you want to be in touch with each other and what you realistically can expect from each other. Everybody's favorite topic. You're the 2-minute crash course in German immigration law that you secretly never knew that you always wanted. The great news for everybody on this call who is a holder of a US, Canadian, Israeli, and a handful of other passports. If you hold one of those passports, you do not need to do anything in terms of immigration documentation before you enter the country. Simply pack your passports, bring all of the other things that you need, and you can enter without any additional steps prior to coming to the country. If you hold a passport from a country that I did not name, hopefully you've already been in touch with local consulates to find out what documentation is needed. For everybody with a US passport, like I said, or Canadian, Israeli, or a handful of other ones, when you get on site, we will fill out all of the paperwork with you that you need, and we will take care of nearly every step along the way. In order to do this, as Ashley mentioned before, we're going to need to collect your passport for 2 phases of this. One, for the initial kicking it off, we need to present all passports to prove that they physically exist in order for them to start processing these. So we're going to be collecting all of the passports at the start of the program. That means that we'll be collecting them by September 3rd, and we'll be handing them back on September 11th. These are not rough estimations. These are solid dates that you can count on. We will need to be in possession of students' passports from September 3rd through September 11th. The second time that we need to collect passports is to wrap the process up. As Ashley mentioned before, we're going to need to bring your passports to the immigration authorities in order to have the 2-page sticker put in your passport, not only as proof of your legal stay in Germany, but also as a nice souvenir in your passport of your time when you were here. Our cooperation with the immigration authorities is based on bulk processing. That means that we have to process everybody all together at once. We do not have the ability to accommodate individual requests. And so we need everybody to adhere to these deadlines. I do not work with the immigration authorities, so I don't know how heavy their workload is. We are one of about 200 educational institutions that use this bulk processing service for students. I don't know how big their enrollments are. I don't know when their enrollment dates are, so I don't know when they're going to be submitting their paperwork. So I can't say exactly how long it will take for the processing to be finished. I can say out of experience that it tends to be the last week of October or the start of November. The number of times I have seen it overlap with fall break has been very, very rare. And remember, I've been doing this since 2016. However, I cannot say with absolute 100% certainty that we will not need to collect your passports during fall break. It will depend on the speed of the immigration authorities, but please believe me, as soon as I know what that date is, I will be in the courtyard with a megaphone announcing it to all of the students because I understand how eagerly you are awaiting those dates as well. So that's sort of all I can say for now. That's probably about all you can intake now for the speed talking that I'm doing right now. We can either take more questions during the Q&A at the end or when we talk about it on site here. You've got me a little bit longer with my speed talking for health and safety. I know nobody enjoys talking about insurance, but it is a necessary evil. Everybody who is coming on the program is covered through the supplementary insurance iNext. That is part of the advantage of being a CIE student, is that you are covered through iNext. Please bear in mind this is a supplemental plan, not a comprehensive or a primary plan. So please inform yourself as to what your primary carrier covers in terms of international coverage. If there are any gaps in that plan, iNext will jump in as a complement to that session, to that insurance. We have separate travel forms, both for Northeastern and for CIE. So whenever you travel independently, we are going to ask you to fill out 2 forms notifying us. It's simply because we have 2 different notification systems. We're doubly looking after you in case anything happens. We have CIE local support. So that we can help you find local doctors and local hospitals should you need them while you're here. Germany does not have urgent care in the same way that a lot of the US has it. However, there are a lot of local doctors that we work with that offer drop-in visits without needing an appointment. So they sort of fill that urgent care gap without having that same name. But like I said, we are here as staff to support you through that process. Like Dior mentioned before, most advisable is if you can bring a semester's long worth of your prescriptions. If you can't, there is no shame in that, no worries. Please simply come talk to us as soon as you get on site so we can help support you in doing the best that we can to get any prescriptions supplemented that you might need. In terms of crises, I'll turn it back to Dior for Crisis 24.
Yes, and quickly before we touch on Crisis 24, I just wanted to talk about policies and procedures. So you are responsible for following all local laws, all host institution policies, so the CIE policies, and all university housing policies, and then also Northeastern's Code of Conduct and our supplemental Code of Conduct guide. So I also, as a student success manager, am responsible for conduct. So should you violate anything, I am more than happy to have an educational conversation with you. So on the next note, we also have our Global Safety Support Network, which is our 24/7 international assistance hotline. Please, please, please save this number. Once you leave the city and once you leave Berlin, us as NUN staff and CIE staff are no longer your direct support line. So we recommend having this number, and I will also share talk about the Crisis 24 app in a minute. These are going to be your direct lines of assistance when you are traveling outside of the city. So we also have our Crisis 24 Horizon app. Here are some QR codes to download it. Please, please, I also would recommend downloading this app. It has a lot of helpful things inside of it. It's location-based, so you also want to enable notification settings and enable location-based settings, because this app will go based off of where you are located and will give you local alerts in the area and can notify you of different things that are going on. Some other helpful features within it is it also includes advice sheets for when you're traveling, such as being a solo traveler, for example. And it also provides a lot of links that can link you back to Northeastern resources as well. So please download this app.
Okay, I know we're running short on time, so we're just going to go through the rest of this quickly. But if you have questions, you can always reach out to us, and we'll talk about that at the end. So just looking ahead, group flights, make sure that you have enrolled in the Smart Travelers Enrollment Program step about your trip. This is through the State Department. Check your email for information about your flight. You should have received this. Our staff will also be monitoring to delays, so don't worry if your flight is delayed. We are monitoring to that, so we'll ensure that there's still a bus to pick you up on that group flight. Contact Advantage Travel if you miss a connection or need to rebook or have problems with your flight that way. And again, we will be picking you up at the airport if you're on the group flight. And make sure you try to wear your Northeastern gear and colors so that people can easily recognize you to know, hey, I'm also going to Berlin. If you're an independent traveler, you should also enroll in the STEP program. If you are looking for ground transportation and you are arriving at the same time or a similar time, we will be able to ideally allow you to take the group flight as well. That you will get confirmation of that. If you haven't received confirmation of that, it will come in the coming days. Once that is confirmed, you'll know that you have a spot on the bus. If you are arriving at different times or outside the pickup times of the group flight, you'll be responsible. And if we don't have space, you'll be responsible of getting yourself from the airport to CIEE. And please arrive after 10 a.m. on that day. And if you're delayed for any reason, please let us know. So action steps. First of all, you should have already completed your CIE application tasks in your portal. You should also have completed your pre-departure orientation modules in Canvas. If you have not, please make sure you do those as soon as possible. Within Canvas, you can also find information like the textbook list and other important information will be shared there as well. So make sure you're checking your Canvas. Make sure you have all the medications you need. Make sure you've already spoken with your academic advisor to finalize your plan for the academic year. If you haven't, please reach out to them ASAP. Make sure to try to learn some recipes so that you can cook and keep your eye on that inbox because we'll be sending you a bunch of important information.
So for some parent action steps, make sure you are discussing expectations with your students around what communication is going to be looking like, budgeting and things like that, and making sure you're checking in with your student to make sure they're keeping on top of their emails and deadlines that they're receiving because they are receiving things now. And then should you be visiting, please wait until your student has their class schedule and knows about any other things that are going on before you book your travel. And then last but not least is winter 2025 transition. So as we wrap up the semester and get towards the end of it, some things for your student to be looking out for is just this transition back home. So all NUN students are guaranteed housing for the spring semester back in Boston. So around October, November's time, please be looking out for that spring housing application. If you're on an F1 visa, please make sure you are up to date on all those things. And also spring course registration. A lot of you will have your academic advisor that will be visiting Berlin while you are on site. So making sure you are meeting with them to make sure you are up on your spring course registration and everything is complete. And then lastly, when you arrive in Boston, during Welcome Week, there's the massive winter involvement fair, where students will get to attend and they'll get to know about a lot of different fun events and organizations and clubs that they can join. And we like to say that our Northeastern NUN students are some of the most oriented because we also have another orientation, Husky 101 orientation, when they arrive to spring in Boston.
Thank you, Dior. I'm going to do a couple minutes here of some questions that I'm seeing in the chat. So the first thing I noticed that people were asking about are textbooks and how to know which textbooks to purchase. Katie is going to send in the chat the link, oh, she just did, to the Germany Academic Handbook for NUN. In that handbook, there's a textbook section that lists the textbooks that are necessary for each course to purchase or that you can find online. So please go ahead and take a look in there for any of those questions about textbooks, and any other academic questions that you may have are usually in that academic handbook as well. And then something else I saw in the chat box that was coming up, Eric, I might hand this over to you, are questions about what documents people need to bring with them when they travel and what documents they might need for the residency permit once they arrive.
Yes. Short answer is if you are a US passport holder, in theory, the only document you should need in order to enter the country is your passport. Some airlines in the past, mostly Delta, but not always. Some airlines in the past have gotten nervous about letting people board a flight if they notice that their return flight is more than 90 days in advance, but they don't have a visa in their possession yet. To counteract this, we at CIE have come up with a form letter that we'll be distributing to students either next week or early in the week thereafter. I'm working with my colleague to finish proofing it, so we'll have that done by the end of the week, and I would imagine it'll go out next week. It can help to have this letter that says, yes, I know my program is more than 90 days. Yes, I know that I don't have my immigration documentation yet, but CIE has promised that they will take care of me and keep me legal. Besides your passport, that is really the only document that you would need for entering the country.
Thank you, Eric. Appreciate that. And then another point about textbooks I'm seeing in the question box as well is how to know which textbooks to buy if we don't have your class schedule yet. When we're talking about receiving your class schedule during on-site orientation, it's literally the schedule of classes, so like times and locations, but your course selections have been approved by your academic advisor already. So you should connect with your academic advisor to confirm your course selections and then refer to that academic handbook to see which textbooks you need for those courses that you have selected with your academic advisor. Another question I'm seeing as well that I'll hand over maybe to Dior, Eric, from previous times on site are questions about the kitchen and the space in there and what that space looks like, how many students will be sharing those spaces at a time, and how we coordinate that. So maybe Dior, if you want to speak to the kitchens a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's quite spacious kitchens. There's multiple cook countertops within the kitchen and multiple fridges as well. So it does allow multiple students to be cooking at once. There's also a toaster oven inside the kitchen as well that students can utilize. We will be doing different cooking demonstrations in the beginning to teach you how to properly clean the kitchen and whatnot in the beginning. But basic layout, you also in your rooms themselves, you also have your own fridge and microwave as well. So if there's a quick microwavable meal that you would like to have, you can also free to utilize that, or any leftovers, you can feel free to store those in the fridge as well. But there's, I'd say, roughly around 20 to 30 students that are going to be sharing the kitchens within the residence halls. We have students on our second, third, fourth, and fifth floors. Fifth, fourth, and third all have a kitchen on that floor. Second floor, you will be sharing the kitchen with third floor.
Thank you, Dior. Thanks for speaking to that. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about that I'm seeing in the Q&A chat box as well is about group flights and when you'll receive ticketing for that. You should receive ticketing for your group flight by the end of this week from Advantage Travel. So if you do not hear about that or any confirmation from that by the end of this week, please feel free to reach out to Advantage Travel as well. But that is all we have time for today for our question and answer. But if we didn't get to your question, here's how you can contact us. Our phone number and our email address are listed there. It will create a ticket for you, but rest assured that that ticket does get directly to us and we will answer those questions as soon as we can. So if there are any questions that we didn't touch on today, you'll be able to find those there. And I did just want to reiterate as well that we did record this session and it will be posted to Students Canvas. So you'll be able to refer back to this session. So please feel free to watch that again and see if any of the questions you have might have been answered throughout the session. And if not, you can contact us at either that phone number or that email address. Thank you all for your time today, and we look forward to welcoming your students in Berlin.